Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Weeknights. I am JD, aka He Who Pods. That's all I got.
WEEKNIGHTS. Weeknights.
Yeah.
That's a new one.
I was about to say that's a brand new one.
That wasn't good.
I just wasn't ready. I was like, oh, we spelling stuff. What we spelling? Ooh, Weeknights. And then you kind of like lost steam at the end.
I paused on purpose. That was intentional.
I didn't even pick up what you was putting down. My bad. I'm
Gee.
trash for that.
Yeah. I am Dash.
Yeah.
I am Dash, aka Dashing D, aka the realest king of R&B, which is why I know that when you spell out a word like that, it has impact. I don't know what my co-host is doing today, but it has impact. Like USHERRAYMOND. You know, it's the same thing.
Got it.
Anyway, we're here, on this Tuesday. I almost got confused. I
I don't know why you ever say the days of the week.
don't know. It keeps me grounded.
Because you stay mixing up.
I do, and I don't know why. My days are like planned out. They're pretty rigid, like in terms of things I have to do on each day of the week. So how do I forget? I don't know. Listen, maybe what I need is a break. Okay. And
Maybe.
maybe I need to do what T.I and Ari Lennox are doing and take a break.
Yeah.
Now, apparently, Ari has decided that she's going to pick a date, and after that date, she will not participate on social media anymore.
That's what she said.
She feels like she needs time to mature and she needs to grow. She feels that she gets too caught up on the internet with the goings on, especially as the goings on pertains to her.
Right?
So she has decided to go on an internet hiatus.
Not yet, though.
Not yet. I believe it's effective 12/31. Is that right?
I think it's like November 18th or something. It's a weird
Oh,
random day.
I'm wrong about the date. But she picked a date. I don't know why that date is significant. She basically said, I'm not worried about the brand deals. I'm not worried about any of those things. I know that it's good for business to be on social, but I am going to exit stage left, close all the apps, shut them down, not use them to try to work on myself.
December 18th.
December 18th, so close to December 31st. And maybe, I don't know, maybe she has deals or whatnot that require her to be on social. I don't know. I don't
She said
often
she
see.
has a. Okay.
No, go ahead.
She said she has a very toxic and codependent relationship with these apps. My happiness is worth more to me than using these apps to promote. I truly believe that I can get creative with marketing elsewhere. I'm so exhausted with my addiction to the internet and gossip and attention and validation and yearning to be in control and oversharing. I just want to be free and complete. There's way more, but yes. And her single Smoke drops on 10/18. She also wants us to know.
Yes, that comes out in 2 days. Now, what do you think about this? Okay, let's back up for a second because there's two things. We mentioned two people here, and I kind of just I want to talk about the T.I thing. I want to talk about both of them at the same time because I feel like these things are connected, and we've been hearing a lot of. They're not connected to each other, um, like actually connected, but I just feel like the topics are connected. So this happens, and then I don't know. This is either a day before or a day after Ti says that he will be doing his final performance will be at Jingle Ball this year in December, and then he will
The
not be
same day.
performing.
Like,
Yes, and he is retiring from performing.
he
He
says that he will perform again, but on his own terms at some point.
right. He said he has enough money. Um, some people believe
Oh,
that when you get to a certain amount of money, you shouldn't make any more. You know, um, are you? Do you feel like that? Do you feel like people shouldn't make more than a certain amount of money?
no, I feel like you make whatever you think works for you and your expenses and your family. And if you feel it's time to call it quits, then you call it quits. But on these two, I say one thing.
They lying? You think they lying?
I think
Um,
it's cap. For those who couldn't see, because you're only listening, thank you for listening and watching. But for those who could only hear, I pulled a cap on, I put a cap on screen. Uh, I think it's cap. I think it's bullshit. I don't think either one of these people are serious. And I would love to be wrong.
mhm.
But we often see people come out and say things like this and then don't do it. For Ari, she's saying this is about mental health, her sobriety, and all of these good things that she's trying to do on her self-care journey. I'm all for that. But what I don't know for Ari is how you're going to do this promotion off of social media in today's age. I hear what she's saying. She feels she could get creative in other ways. I don't think the label is going to let you do that, though. So we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. I would like to be wrong, but I don't think so. As far as Ti says a lot of stuff, and I don't believe Ti. I know he probably has not said before that he has enough money, but I know Ti has a family and expenses, and yeah, he
Big
acts
family.
and stuff. I'm sorry,
A big family.
a big family. Yeah, I know he acts and stuff, and but we saw Ti try to be a podcaster.
Oh, what happened with that? I forgot about that.
It's over exponentially.
Expeditiously.
Expeditiously, there you go. Expedition. I said exponentially.
I know.
Expeditiously.
That's why I'm
It
laughing.
ended expeditiously. Um,
But
we saw him try to be a comedian,
I vaguely remember that, but I think I tried to suppress that.
and now he's gonna retire from music. Okay, listen, I'm okay with him retiring. He's given us a great discography, lots of good music. I just don't believe it. I call cappuccino
I just fell asleep because I'm just tired of the word retirement. You know when retirement is going to excite me?
when it's
When
not
I get
announced.
65 years old, okay? That's when retirement is going to excite me, okay? I'm jealous of all the oldies retiring. But anyway, a story for another day. Here's the thing.
Oh, and he's about to open up a restaurant with Killer Mike. Ti.
Okay. Well, that's good for him. Listen, I think you should always expand your horizons. I think you should expand your portfolio as well if you're able to do so. As he said, he's got enough money so he can go and he can do other projects and things that I'm sure he's already been doing other things. But if he doesn't want to focus on music anymore, and he didn't say he's not releasing any albums. He said he's not performing. So we may still get music from him. Um, y'all know how I feel about retirement. I just for artists, I think it's silly. I think you just don't have to say that you're doing that because you're an artist.
Right.
It's artistry is fluid, so you can come and go as you please. I mean, your record label might care about you coming and going, but for us, you can come and go as you please. You can make music at your leisure, and we'll be here. Um, and as far as Ari Lennox goes, I got a bit of a different stance on Ari Lennox.
All
I
right,
think
tell
that
me about it.
I think this is necessary. Now, I haven't seen her do anything crazy lately, but I don't keep up too much with her like that in that way. But I do know that in the past, it has felt like she needed to put her phone away. So
Yes.
I actually wish Ari Lennox would have done this sooner. Um, you can't let social consume you, and
Right.
it's easy to become consumed. Um,
Absolutely.
even
It's
in
built for that.
yeah, and I'll admit it too. When with us doing this show or me doing my own, I have been known to go down a comment rabbit hole and stress about the things that people say or things that maybe are taken out of context or just completely misunderstood. Um, I'll be the first person to admit that I think that it's human to have a reaction to other humans experiencing you. Um, we're not always revered. We're not always championed for the things that we do or say. Sometimes we're challenged. Sometimes people are just mean, honestly. Um,
Yeah.
because there's nothing wrong with being challenged, and there's nothing wrong with disagreeing, or I think spirited debate is important, and I welcome it. But you do sometimes end up in a space where you're like, well, that was fucked up. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes, we do.
So, and when you create, you leave yourself open to, and this is what you signed up for. But you
Yes.
do leave yourself open to criticism. That's a part of the gig.
Yes.
So I think that watching Ari Lennox in the past react to certain things on a small scale and on a big scale, she's reacted to award shows where she felt like she wasn't, you know, treated fairly, or however you want to say it. I think that this is a really good thing for her. I think getting to a space where you feel like you need growth and you need maturity is not something that I'm ever going to knock. Um, and so I wish Ari Lennox well. The announcement that was made, I think, is the childish part of it. Honestly, we didn't need an
Okay.
announcement and a date for what. You don't owe that to us.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's that same hold that it has that makes you sit there and type up a message to tell people that you've got to take a break from this, and this is the date that they won't see you on social anymore. I just feel like that's kind of silly when you say it out loud. Um,
Right.
she probably could have skipped that part, but I hope she finds whatever it is she's looking for. And I wish everyone well on their future endeavors. I wasn't
That is well.
I wasn't checking for a Ti performance. Not to say I wouldn't want to see Ti perform. I just that's not what was on my radar. So if Ti wants Jingle Ball to be his last performance, well, so be it.
Good luck.
To you and yours.
All right. All right. Now we head over to a conversation that's been happening on the internet. Joe Budden said he believes his mixtape discography is better than a lot of people's, including Lil Wayne's mixtape discography. And to be clear, only mixtapes, not albums, only mixtapes. And so they discussed this on the Math Hoffa show. I'm going to play that clip here for you lovely folks at home.
My good buddy Joe Budden said he has a better mixtape catalog than Lil Wayne. People weren't doing emotional based raps before Joe. Yeah, it just Drake's holding it low. It says catalog better than Lil Wayne's though. Mixtapes. Mixtape. Nah. For every artist, you're always gonna feel like, okay, look, this may have been overlooked. Like It is true.
Right, because
Joe was that first.
he was overlooked.
First Drake.
He was overlooked. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Content wise. I mean, the records might have moved the same. It might not have had the same support, but he was the guy that was. He didn't have the same impact. His relationships were very public because he didn't have the same support. My good buddy Joe Budden.
All right, that's the clip from the Math Hoffa podcast. I believe that's what it's called, but it's Math Hoffa's show. It's called My Expert Opinion. That's the name of the Math Hoffa show. It's called My Expert Opinion. And so, I gotta be honest, I don't know if I'm allowed to vote here.
I don't think I am either, but for two completely different reasons. And you know, I didn't think about this when we decided to do this topic, but no, you shouldn't be allowed to vote here either, because
I don't think I get a vote. Yeah, I know Joe Budden's mixtape catalog extremely well. Most of Joe Budden's career was mixtapes, and I know lots of them in and out by heart. Matter of fact, I got a tattoo on my arm from one of Joe Budden's mixtapes.
that's not the reason you're not able to do this.
I was getting there.
I'm sorry. I didn't think about it until this moment. I'm like, wait, we shouldn't really be judging this at all.
But I have never, ever listened to not one Lil Wayne mixtape from start to finish. I've heard the songs. I know the popular ones just like a lot of y'all do. Look at that. Almost broke everything. But I do not know what a single Lil Wayne mixtape sounds like from start to finish.
I don't either.
So I don't think I get a vote here.
I don't get a vote either because hot take. Well, this is not a hot take, but I wouldn't know either one.
I figured that.
Now, do I know what people are referring to when they talk about Joe Budden and his mixtape era? Absolutely. I have been blessed enough to have people around me who love that era of Joe Budden. So I have been exposed to it. You are one of them.
Guilty.
Yes. So I have been exposed to that. In fact, I'd say I'm probably at this point more exposed to that than Lil Wayne. I too know the Lil Wayne that everyone knows. I don't know mixtape Lil Wayne. I can't speak on that. So I think even bringing this topic up in hindsight is not.
Well, I do think there is something to discuss here, but when you're done, I'll go.
You know, but I couldn't evaluate reasonably and fairly between those two people and those two sets of their work. I just couldn't. What I will say is, is the implication here? This is a question, but is the implication here that they were making the same style of music?
No.
Okay, because I was gonna say I think it's two different styles. And if that is the case, then what is this comparison based off of?
Quality of music, and that's where it gets challenging, and that's part of the conversation. They on the clip are having and maybe there's more. This is a clip. I didn't watch the full episode. I don't know how much this was cut up and edited, but we are reacting strictly to the clip. And so the clip that is circulating, and shout out to Days, the Emperor sent it to me. The clip is talking about Joe having less of an impact because of his relationships in the industry and because of Wayne having better relationships in the industry. It also speaks about Joe being the first emotional rapper / the first Drake. They say both in the clip.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Yeah.
And so if we're speaking about impact, yes, you can say that without Joe, we don't get Drake. I don't think there's a lot to argue here if you know, one, Joe Budden's catalog, mixtape catalog specifically, 2, Drake's fandom of Joe Budden. 3, what Drake has publicly said years and years ago about Joe Budden and his influence on Drake as a fan and an artist. I don't think there's anything to argue there. But one thing they did not say in the clip is, well, the guy who kind of brought that guy to the forefront is Lil Wayne. So they're kind of having a without Joe, there's no Lil Wayne conversation. I'm sorry, I'm saying this wrong. They're having a without Joe, there's no Drake conversation, but also without Lil Wayne, there's probably not a Drake.
There's no Drake either.
So
Yeah.
it gets really weird and muddy for me. I do think, yes, I love that they're acknowledging that Joe has a solid body of work, that Joe was overlooked, and that Joe is a big influence on Drake.
Yeah.
But the conversation of whose mixtape career is better, you would have to listen to both mixtape careers in their entirety and then be able to judge. And I can't do that because I've never heard Lil Wayne mixtapes. So I can't judge, but I do think, yes, they are having an interesting conversation in this clip. I do appreciate them acknowledging that Joe has a solid body of work, that Joe was overlooked, and that Joe heavily influenced Drake, because a lot of people deny those things.
All of those things are spot on. I almost want to go way back into time and listen to some of this music. Now, again, I'm probably more experienced in Joe Budden today, but I just, it's a weird comparison. I understand what Joe. I think that the complicated thing, and maybe the thing that's not being said, is that Joe Budden, before Joe Budden was the podcaster, before Joe Budden was the reality show star, Joe Budden had a lot to offer in terms of music. And I think that what maybe gets lost and why he tries to remind us, and I'm not saying he's wrong, but I think that one of the reasons he tries to remind us is because, people look at him now and they think podcaster, they think, oh, he's been on reality television. They think the fans, of course, know where he started and where he came from. But, sometimes you gotta bring it back up. And I feel like that's the thing that's not being said here, is that Joe Budden like you said, Joe Budden made an impact, but it doesn't get discussed very often what his impact was.
Because people focus on commercial success.
Right. So there's little conversation, especially outside of certain circles, about his contributions. And I think he knows that, and I think that's why he uses his platform to say, well, I was around when, or I did this already. So I think that's the thing that sometimes there's a disconnect there, because I even saw Fat Joe, who I thought was good friends with Joe Budden. So I don't know if he was being
No.
Because okay, I thought they were friends.
It seems they are not, based on what one person said directly out their own mouth. But continue.
Okay, then I feel more comfortable saying that the first comment I saw on this clip was Fat Joe saying this take is delusional.
But Fat Joe is delusional, so I don't care what Fat Joe says.
I was just about to say, I don't even like that man.
Fat Joe is delusional, so I
And
don't
I
care what Fat Joe says.
and I
Because the
am
nigga
well
who is out
documented.
here talking about his Ozempic journey and calling himself Jopra and saying he robbed a full auditorium of people for their clothing without a gun, Fat Joe just makes shit up.
And won't
Fat
stop
Joe,
saying nigga.
and well, also wants to let us know, while constantly letting us know, I do not identify as black. I'm
Right.
just down with hip hop. I think Fat Joe is a whole podcast within itself that we will
Which we
not
will
do.
not do.
That we will not do.
No.
But I really don't give a fuck what Fat Joe says. Basically, like, it's great that he's a legend and he's still around and he's
Whatever.
responsible for some people who are important to hip hop. But really, I wish Fat Joe would shut the fuck up. The
Agreed.
only thing
There's
I
very few
appreciate
people. Sorry.
The
You go.
only thing I appreciate currently from Fat Joe is apparently his interview series is awesome. I've heard. I haven't watched it because I don't watch shit that Fat Joe does.
There's very few people I'll come out and like completely just cuss them out and just be like, fuck them. He's one of them. He just is. I just can't. Like, I've seen too much at this point. I sometimes curse the internet because maybe if we never had podcasts or social media or anything that is remotely digital that connects us way more than we need to be to certain people, then maybe I wouldn't feel like he was an asshole. But I do, because I've
Yeah.
seen too much and I've heard too much at this point, and I just don't. I only bring up his comment because it was bizarre to me. Because I feel like also in certain circles, again, in certain circles, these conversations will happen, and these are people who are tapped in. And I thought it was odd that he said that. And the reason was, you could have a favorite, and I don't even think that's the thing that makes this strange. The thing that makes it strange to me is I just felt like they were apples to oranges, and that's why I brought it up, because I was like, somebody like him should be able to see the apples and see the oranges. But
Yeah, if you want to.
anyway, let's move on.
Speaking of tired of speaking,
That's how you starting this topic. All
I
right,
am. Cause I ain't cause like Fat Joe, I ain't shit either.
because nobody likes talking about Apple more than you do.
Listen, me and Apple, we go back. But let's talk about what's going on over at Apple. Apple is getting rid of annual product launches. According to Bloomberg, Apple will gradually shift away from its annual product release schedule due to the inability to sustain yearly upgrades for each product. I'm going to read that sentence one more time. Due to the inability to sustain yearly upgrades for each product. As a part of this transition, the company plans to stagger Apple's intelligence release and introduce new products throughout 2025.
Here's a problem, and then I'll let you get on your soapbox, because we're doing this topic for you, not for me. But his problem right here, all that nonsense that they've been carrying on with for however many years, they're gonna hold off on upgrades. It was expensive, duh.
Oh, man.
That's really all this comes down to. All it comes down to is bottom line. And I mean, people have been talking about Apple hoarding money for years, so that's another conversation. But the economy is what it is, whether you were hoarding money or not, right? And eventually you start dipping into your reserves. I don't know if that's what happened. Like, I'm just saying that, because there's this argument of Apple is super duper rich as a company, but then there's also this thing that you guys have built into your business model, which probably costs you a hell of a lot of money to host an event, to make sure it's streamed to everybody who wants to see it, then the upgrades themselves that you have to now build in, and every year you've got to launch and relaunch and a new iOS and this and this and this and that. So from a business perspective, I just think it's kind of like, what did y'all think was going to happen? Because some things are not worth the spend. You could save money with some of this stuff, or you could put those resources towards other things. I don't know. I'm like, but y'all been doing this for years, so why now? Why now? That's why I say it gotta be the bottom line. It gotta be affecting the bottom line because they've been doing it for a million years where they've been like, yeah, so uh now we're gonna give you a sharper camera this year. The same sharper camera that y'all had years ago that y'all could have just put out the sharper camera, but you didn't because you want people to keep spending. And you know what? In a struggling economy, people are not spending the way they're spending and what they're probably finding. And I didn't read anything, guys. Sorry. So I could be completely wrong. These are guesses. But I would imagine in our struggling economy, people rushing out to get the new phone every year probably not happening at the rates that it was happening pre-pandemic. That's just a guess. I don't know. What goes up must come down.
That's true. You know, listen, as a person
Now let me
who
get comfortable because I know this is gonna be all right. Whew, where's my pillow? All right,
you done now?
you've got the floor.
Thanks.
Give it to us.
Listen, I say all the time, Apple loves to play with their customers' emotions. And they've been doing that for a long time. And let me be clear, once upon a time, I was one of those customers. Somewhere in this apartment is still an '08 MacBook. That truly has nothing wrong with it. But that Apple says I can't do a bunch of shit with because they won't allow me to do so. I had every iPhone 1 through 4S and then realized, what am I doing here? They are playing with my emotions. All my homies with the Android devices keep making fun of me. Every time I get excited about some announcement, they're like, son, was able to do that. Every time I try to do something, I'm like, man, I got to download an app because this PDF won't open. They're like, son, you can't open a PDF? For real? I left a long time ago, and I feel like mad people should have left a long time ago, but they've got y'all by the short hairs with this tomfoolery. They continue to announce nonsense. Hey guys, big announcement. Just want to let you know you can now have the same exact phone, but in cobalt blue. Give it up, folks. Cobalt blue. Come
All
on.
right.
I know how bad y'all wanted the iPhone 13 in cobalt blue. Come on. Look how shiny and pretty it is. And not only that, but we upgraded the calculator. Woo!
Oh, they
Why?
did just upgrade the calculator. I looked at I used the calculator a couple days ago. I said, "Oh, this is different." And put
Fam,
my photos back the way they were.
in 2019, we got RNC chat. It just got RNC chat 5 years later. And
I
are loving it.
put my photos back
And
the
are
way they
loving
were.
it. Everybody's like, oh my God, I can see when you're typing now. I don't have to think that you're just over texting me because I never know when you're texting. Oh man,
Why
look
do
at the
I don't
look
know
at the
why do
videos
people need
and
to
the
see that?
pictures. Huh?
Why do people need to see you typing?
Because if you say, hey, what you doing? And then I send a text and then another text, you think I sent that second text after you sent your text. It's mad weird. Even my daughter was excited. We were on the train Sunday morning and she said, hey, Dad, remember you were telling me about this RNC update thing that we got? I said, yeah. She said, did you know that now I can see when you read my messages? And now I can see when you're typing? That's really cool, right? I said, baby, we were able to do that in 2019. All the color left her face. And she said, so when I've read your messages? I said, girl, just enjoy your smoothie. Don't talk to me right now. They've been playing with y'all for years.
Is
And
something
so
wrong with
now,
me that I don't care for that feature?
I don't know, but you could talk to other Apple users about it. Maybe they have thoughts.
No, I just
But
mean it. I'm not talking about Apple users. Okay, you can try. I have I don't want to change phones because I don't want to learn how to use a different phone, a different type of phone. It's kind of like
that's
computers.
everybody.
I don't want to switch from a Windows computer to a Mac
Mm.
because
That's
it's
everybody.
just it's out of convenience, not out
I was gonna
of
say Apple runs on convenience.
excitement for what they're serving me. I mean, they're all charging us a lot of money for smartphones and things like it's just I don't care enough. I
Some
don't
people
keep
with
up
cell
with
phone.
every upgrade or anything like that. But I also just don't understand. I guess the novelty of seeing, like, I could tell you, irritates me at work because there's plenty of programs that use that same feature where you can see that a person is typing. I just think that's I don't get it. I don't get the excitement over that, but that's just me.
But this is what they do. Every year they announce some bullshit and everyone gets excited. And so now, listen, people are getting less excited. They also have realized, hey, last year's phone and this year's phone is the same shit. You just gave me a slightly better camera, or you just gave me a slightly bigger phone, or you're just offering slightly more space on the memory.
Uh-huh.
And so the jig is up. And so I, for one, am happy that we don't have to keep hearing y'all, customers, and their press runs about these bullshit updates. That's it.
What?
Just
You
that's all.
always say that, and I'm like, who is coming to you and complaining to you about their Apple phone?
No, no, not
You
it's
get
the
a lot of
opposite.
complaints
It's
from
the op.
people
No,
who
no,
Apple
it's the
users.
no, quite the opposite. They are excited about bullshit.
Oh, I just
They're like, oh my god!
see.
Now, did you know? Did you know? Now we have a third camera on our camera. I'm like, son, you know we've been had
Oh,
that.
I guess I don't get into the
Niggas is like,
type
son,
of
we got
all that.
16 megapixels now. It's crazy out here. I'm like, good. Let me just take a picture of this ad where it says we had that 3 years ago and send it to you.
I just need my electronics to be good and working. Like I don't care about any of that stuff. I just needed to do the things that I
This
needed
nigga
to
said,
do. Can my phone make phone calls? Can it send text messages? And can it make video calls if needed? That's really can I take photos and edit them? That's about the
oh
extent
man, that was one of my favorites.
to
Like, oh
my.
my god, oh my god. Let me tell you why we better than y'all, androids. I'm like, I don't represent all androids, but okay, tell me. Because now we could delete someone from our picture.
These
Bow. I bet
these
y'all can't do that. I bet y'all can't do that. I'm like,
these
we've
are
been doing
weird.
this
These
for
are
very long.
weird conversations you're having with people. I just want you to know
But
it's a
this
little
is what they
strange.
do. They do this to
This
y'all.
is a
They
little
whammy
this is a little
y'all because
strange.
they announce some bullshit and everybody gets excited about the bullshit because what happens? They do this big fly shit on TV. It's streamed everywhere. Then it's all over the news. It's in the newspaper. And people are like, oh my God, this is so fly. I
You
can't
might
wait.
need some friends
This
with
is
some
so
new
exciting.
hobbies because this is like the things that people are keeping up with. Like who I don't know. I
I
mean,
mean,
of
it's the
course,
same as the
we all
Kardashians.
want, huh?
I said it's the same as keeping up with the Kardashians.
I don't know. I don't know what you mean by that.
It's all right, never mind. Or just go ahead. It's bullshit. It's hype over nothing.
I guess, yeah. I mean, it's just listen. If that's what excites people, I don't want to take away people's joy. I just don't really care. Like, I just want a working device. I just need the functionalities that I need. All of the additional functionalities don't matter to me in the least. I don't care. I just want to be able to do things that I need to do, which is like a bare minimum. It's like a list of 5 things that I need to do. And then and then outside of that, like, can I pay a bill by phone because I'm old? So can I pay a bill by phone with my device? Like, these are the things that I need to know if I can do. Am I able to access my accounts? Am I like very old lady grandma shit? I don't care about
Good
whether I
grandma,
can
but
see
not
you
really.
typing a text or not. I just think that's silly. I, and it's again, I don't want to. What do they say? I don't want to yuck anybody's yum. If that's what people are into, then that's great for them. I really don't give a shit. I just want to be able to do the really regular ass old lady things. I see something cool, I want to be able to take a photo of it. Like, I just, can I listen to music on it? I like to listen to music. Can I listen to music on the device? These really basic things that the phone was already doing. So pleased that I get that still. All the other shit, I don't care. I do not care. And congratulations to all the Android users who had all of these features before. I don't know. But like, I wish everybody well in their future endeavors, really. That is where I'm at today.
Yeah. All right. Well, I've said enough. And so if you got anything else, we can go.
No, I've got nothing else. I'm probably gonna go pay a bill right now on my device. Or I'm kidding, but yeah, I just, can it make phone calls? Can
All
it
right.
call the people I care about?
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. This was Weeknights. We appreciate you tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll be back tomorrow with more. Adios.
Bye.